It's grandson of right thought. Welcome to the School of Marvelous Light this morning, little flock. It's nice and bright and early, as you can see. The sun's just coming up. Before we get into the meat and potatoes, as we always do, because we like eating and drinking here at the School of Marvelous Light, we hunger and thirst after the right stuff, so we love being filled. But before we get into it, I want you to consider something. A lot of people who say they are believers, say they follow Christ, call themselves Christians, a lot of them are deceived, and they are deceiving themselves. Yahushua said that many will come in that day and say to him that they did everything for him. You see, little flock? And that they say that they are his, but he says he never knew them. So I really want you to consider that today. Because as you know, deception is at an all-time high right now. Y'all should know that very well. He said it's going to be at an all-time high at the end, which is the time you're living in right now. So imagine how many people around you are just truly deceived, thinking they're serving Christ, and Christ doesn't even know them, and he never has known them. Well, the reason for this is because you live amongst a faithless and perverse generation. Otherwise, it would just be pleasing in the sight of Abba, and he would have no need in destroying it, like Noah's day. But as I'm often referring you guys to that scripture to remind you of what Christ said when he said, just as in the days of Noah, so shall it be in the coming of the Son of Man. So it means that there's a faithless and perverse generation. Because the Son of Man is searching for a particular ingredient when he comes. And it's faith, little flock. And what is the faith that he's looking for? That you are one with Christ. That's what people are faithless about, little flock. And that's why he says, I never knew you. What does it mean when the Bible says Adam knew his wife Eve? What ends up coming after that? What do you think Mary meant when she said, I'm pregnant, but I have not known a man? What do you think she was talking about by no? And he knew his wife, and she, the next word is going to be conceived. You see what I'm saying to you, little flockulators? You see why I'm always talking about a womb and what a husband and a wife do in there? So when Christ says, I never knew you, that means we never conceived. You've never received me, which is what a woman does to her husband. She receives him into her body, and they become one flesh. That's what marriage is. So as I was reading to you guys yesterday, there's a marriage supper of the Lamb. But that marriage supper of the Lamb is going on at a time among a perverse and faithless generation, just as in the time of Noah. See it there? So when the Son of Man is looking for faith, which I keep telling you is righteousness, which is right thought, which we're going to prove that as we get to the meat of the potatoes, because we prove all things here at the School of Marvelous Light. Do you ever notice that? Do you notice that these bold claims that I make, I always back them up with scripture? And I don't just back them up with one scripture. I back them up with scripture upon line upon line. I mean, here and there a little. You see what I'm saying to you? You hear it? Well, the faithless and the perverse, they don't believe what they cannot see. So if they cannot see Christ, then they actually don't believe Christ. See what I'm saying? So they're looking to see him to believe that they are one with him. Don't you hear it? Can you understand that? All right then. So he come like a thief in the night. That's how the wedding works. The woman is waiting. She's making herself ready. And he's going to come at an hour when she's not expecting it. Why? So he can see if her love for him is true. Okay, let me give you guys an example. There's a soldier. Now he gets married to a woman and he's about to get deployed. He's going to be gone for, let's just say, a short time, maybe 6 months. He's going to be gone for 6 months. And he's like, I'm going to be back, whenever they let me come home. I'm going to be back. But she doesn't know how long it's going to be. She has no clue. So he goes off. Something happens while he's over there. He ends up not being able to go home. He has to stay for a year. So she's waiting and waiting and waiting, doesn't know when he's going to come. Well, in the meantime, she says, screw this. I'm tired of being lonely. See how you little flock been feeling? Come on. I'm tired of being lonely, man. This shit sucks. Tired of being here all by myself. Nobody to talk to. Nobody to hold me. Nobody to comfort me. See that there? Little flock of laters. So she goes out in the streets looking for a new husband. In other words, somebody to fulfill those feelings that she's lacking, which only her husband is going to fulfill it, but she tries to substitute it with something else. That's called adultery and idolatry. That's what you guys have been doing. That's why he said you were lost sheep that have gone astray. That's that woman who went astray out into the streets. Now, what happened in the Song of Solomon when that woman went out into the streets looking for her lover? What happened? Now, she wasn't looking for a new lover. She was just looking for her own. And what happened? It said they smote her and beat her. We were reading it right out of the Song of Solomon, guys. In other words, they mistreated her. So that's what will happen to that woman who got the soldier over there that's fighting. That's what will happen to her when she goes searching. You see it? It's vain. But it feels good for a second when that guy's sitting there watching Netflix with you and eating popcorn, kicking his feet up on your husband's couch. It feels good for a moment, but death is the end of that result. Because when that soldier come home unexpectedly and he wanted to surprise you, so he didn't even call you, he's like, I know I've been gone longer than expected, so let me just pop up on her. Because I know she's just been waiting for me, missing me. And he comes home and she's in the arms of another man. You don't think death is going to come knocking next? Yeah, and he's a soldier, so death is something that pretty much is going to come natural to him. You understand what I'm telling you guys here today? Well, that's you. Because this is a marriage supper. So then how should that woman be? And everybody listening to this, male or female, will answer the same answer, won't you? So how come you guys know the answer, but everybody don't agree on how we should be all acting then? Isn't that interesting? Yeah. So when he come at an unexpected hour where those who were watching, can receive him because they were watching and prepared. And their garments were white with righteousness, which is faith. They were faithful. So what did we read about yesterday? Faithfulness is the girdle of his reins. Who? The man that's talking to you today. The man that's motivating you. The man that's reminding you so that you can overcome and not fall away. That's what a shepherd does to a flock as they're going home. Hey. No. Don't be down. Don't be sad. Now, see, the sheep doesn't always want to hear that. So sometimes you guys get mad at me when I say some of the things that I say to you. That's natural. The shepherd don't take it personal. Why should a shepherd take it personal if the sheep get upset? He's compassionate toward his sheep, and he understands. Sometimes when you're down, you just want to feel down. So sometimes that woman, when she's sad because her husband's not home, he's over there fighting, sometimes she just wants to sit and eat Haagen-Dazs all damn day and potato chips and shit and watch Netflix all day because she's depressed because he's gone. But she realizes that's not going to do nothing but make me gain a whole bunch of weight and make my skin all bad and make me all undesirable to my husband when he comes home. And I'm sitting here with a towel wrapped around my head and a robe and some slippers and shit on and shit. And I'm 500 pounds overweight and everything because, you understand what I'm saying? And my excuse is, well, I was depressed. And he's going to say, well, why didn't you keep my word? What is his word? Be of good cheer. Thy faith have made thee whole. Wait a second. I don't know if you guys don't have antennae, but I do. And my antennae start going when he says things that tell me the answer to a problem I'm having. When I hear the solution, I lock and load it into my chamber so that when I ever face that problem again, I will shoot his ass down like Dirty Harry, make my day. Do you understand what I'm saying? He just told you a solution to a big ass problem you were having. Did you hear what the solution was? Your faith. Stop. Whose faith? Yours. So if you want to be made whole, you have to do what? Utilize this thing I keep telling you that causes God to be pleased. Because he is not going to be pleased otherwise. That's what I keep trying to tell you guys. He's not going to be pleased with anything that you do if you don't do it faithfully. Why? Because if anything is done and it's done without faith, then it is sin. And sin means to miss the mark, which means when you did it, it missed the mark of the thing you were hoping for because you didn't do it by faith. Why? Because faith is the substance of the thing you hope for. It's the realness. It's the feeling you would feel as if it were though. So when you substitute it, you're not actually feeling the feeling as though it's though, because you're feeling other feelings that come with the carnal mind's idea that you took along, which is fornication. What am I saying? What I mean is that woman that had that other guy sitting on her husband's couch because her husband was a long time in coming home. She says she's fulfilling that feeling of being lonely, but there are other thoughts in there as well. Like, what if somebody sees me? What if my neighbor sees this man leaving my house, and when my husband returns, he tells my husband? What if my mom calls me right now while I'm having sex with this other guy? What would I do if it, what if that? All of those thoughts are coming with it. So do you have life and peace? No. So why? Because you didn't seek what you were seeking by faith. Now, how would she seek it by faith? See, it doesn't do anybody any good to tell you all of that negative thing that everybody already knows is bad behavior that woman is doing, if we don't tell you the right way, which is the faithful way. Now, I'm going to tell you how to faithfully seek it. Now, how could I do that if I wasn't who I say that I am? Because you live in a faithless and perverse generation. So that means everybody around you is faithless and perverted, which means they're going the wrong direction, laboring in vain, working by the works of their hands to get the thing that they look for, which means looking for it in the 3D. And when you do that, you get smitten and beaten and used up. That's what we read in Song of Solomon, but people don't listen to it, so they keep on doing that. Well, if you live among a generation like that, and then you have some man that magically just pops up, obviously doesn't care about outward appearance, and then tells you, hey, this is how you do it the right way, don't you think that's peculiar and strange? Now, see if that's the way God's people are. And then when you see that God says you are a peculiar people, then you look at that peculiar man, you must say that must be one of God's people. And I am. So then do you faithfully believe that? Or do you think that I'm one of those guys that only do all things to be seen of men? Is that what you think of me? Because that's the only other type of person that you will see when it comes to doing what I do, which is shepherding or ministering to a flock. You will only see two types. One is the one that does not care about outward appearance. He is circumcised of the heart. He is a Jew of the heart and a Jew inwardly. So he focuses on matters of the heart. You see that? And then you have the other minister, the other shepherd, which is the unprofitable servant, or the wicked shepherd, the Bible calls him, who only focuses on outward appearance and teaches you how to do things that make you appear outwardly righteous unto men. Now, when you see Yahushua walking around as the high priest, see if that's the beef that he has with the so-called priest that the people were flocking after. See if that's what he was tearing down about them, their outward appearance, that's what they do. And it do look like it's right, and that's what allures to people. He told you that. So now, back to doing it by faith. Now, how could that woman, whose husband is gone, seek the things that she wants by faith. Let's say it's loneliness, comfort, which are the things that her husband can provide. So when she goes to sleep that night, like I tell you guys all the time, when you're laying on your bed, is what we read in the scriptures, Song of Solomon. So when you're laying on that bed and you're dozing off to go to sleep, as she said, I sleep, but my heart waketh. So when you go to sleep, you're consciously aware of what you're about to do. So you go into your subconscious mind as you're dozing off to sleep. What she would do is be laying in her husband's arms like she normally would. She's doing this in her heart because she's going to go to sleep consciously. But her heart is going to do the work, which is the wife, the feelings that are inside. So when she visualizes laying in her husband's arms, she feel the feeling as though it's so. That feeling, the feeling as though it's so, is called the substance of what she's hoping for. Isn't it crystal clear? Who could do that other than the spirit of Abba Yahweh? Who do you think? It's laser focused, isn't it? All right, then. So now as she's doing that, you who are of the carnal mind that's listening to this, anybody who may be, you think that what I'm about to say is not going to produce the thing she's looking for. That's why you search for it in the arms of another man. That's why you're adulterous. So get the hell up out of this congregation. You have no place here. Now, back to the spiritually minded little flock. We don't like goats coming around here sniffing around. All them niggas do is eat up every damn thing. So we don't want their ass around. Tears. Okay? So back to what we were saying. As she's feeling the feelings as though it is so, making love to her husband, he's holding her, they're laughing, they're watching Netflix and shit, or whatever it is she liked to do with him, she's doing that every single day. She never comes off of that thought and feeling. Because as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. So sliced you off at the knees, and now your carnal-minded ass is on your knees whether you have liked it or not. So now I'm standing over you, looking down at you with my sword raised up, about to decapitate you because you're just rebellious and won't submit to these truths that I'm telling you all, as if this is not the power of God that could teach a man the things that I am teaching. Are you that blind? You who are listening to this message, are you so blind that you can't see what Abba has granted you? The grace that he's afforded you? You can't see it? You're that rebellious and hard-hearted to not understand the ease of what I've just told you? Are you serious? You would rather go and cheat and risk losing your life than to simply lay in the bed and believe it's so and it shall be? Oh, but you're faithless and perverse. I forgot. So therefore, Yahusha don't know you, never has he known your ass. He can't because you're faithless, and it is impossible to please God without faith. So if it's impossible to please God, then you think you can please the Son? So then why would he lay with you if you can't please him? I would tell any woman that can't please me, what's the point of you putting your mouth on me if you ain't going to please me? You're going to waste my time, so you may as well not even do it. It ain't going to interest me, so why are you doing it? Same thing Yahusha saying. You're not going to please me, so I'm not going to know you, because we really know what know you mean. Do you hear that, little flockulators, or not? So as I said, she's doing this every day, and she does it until he comes walking in that door with that dew on his head, the dew of youth. What do you mean, the dew of youth? What do you do when you're a child? You run, you jump, you play. When your mom says, go get me that remote off of the counter, you go and get it. And not only do you go and get it when you're a youth, you run to go and get it. And along the path of life, you started to slow down and walk to where you went. But when you were a kid, you didn't walk no damn where. You ran everywhere you went. They were like, go get this. You ran and got that shit. You had an idea. You were in the kitchen. You had an idea to go get one of your Matchbox cars out of your toy box upstairs. You ran upstairs to go get that damn car. You just ran and ripped and ran. When you were inside the house and you heard the ice cream truck coming up the street, you ran upstairs to your mom, asked her for $1 out of her purse. She gave that shit to you. Then you ran down them damn stairs, ran out of the front door, slammed it on the way out while your dad said, "Don't slam my damn door." You were already down the porch and you could barely hear him, but you said, "Yes, sir," while you were running. And then you ran to the ice cream truck and said, "Hey, Ahmed, give me 2 of those snow cones," or whatever the hell it was that you were eating. I didn't eat snow cones because that was a waste of time to me. I didn't understand that shit. It didn't have enough flavor. That little bit of syrup squirted on top of that ice. I'm like, that shit ain't nothing, man. Give me a strawberry shortcake or something. Give me a screwball with a little piece of gum down in the bottom. Give me something. Y'all hear me today, little flockulators? So do you understand the dew of youth that husband brings into that woman? See, a woman that's desolate and barren and shit and all alone, she looks like it. But a woman who has a husband that brings the dew of youth up in her, she's beautiful, she's glowing, she's radiant, she's confident, she's everything a woman should be, because she is the desire of her husband, because she pleases him. So if she pleases him, guess what he'll do to you? He will reciprocate in the highest. I can guarantee you. It's just that you got to please him. Like Yahusha said, if you please me, then I'll know you. And he's looking for somewhere to lay his head, like that soldier is. He's fighting and killing and bleeding and every damn thing so he can get back home to his wife and lay his head on his bed. His comfort, his rest from the fight that he been in. Now he been fighting for your rights and freedom and liberties, but he come home to an adulterous wife. And many soldiers have done it and have committed suicide, have killed the woman, killed the children that they had, killed, man. Do you see it, little flock? So now we're going to get into some scriptures now. Like I said, some meat and potatoes like we always do. As if that wasn't a message in itself, little flock. All right. So do you understand the seeking it by faith? She went to sleep in that state, feeling as though it's so. Not doubting it as she's laying there crying, going, I wish it was. No, it is. Oh, it feels so good to be laying in your arms. She's just talking like she would be talking to him until he's there. And if you do that with everything that you do, then you'll have it. Because she's asking, believing. She's asking as though it's so. That's the same thing. Asking as though it is happening is believing. That's why she feels the feelings. Because when you don't feel the feelings, you won't have it. And you think you don't have it, so you should feel those feelings as though you don't. That won't help you get it. That's why he says don't do that. Don't murmur, don't complain, don't fear, don't stress, and don't worry, don't take thought. That's why he says that. Accept that it is. And if you accept that it is, will you take thought of how it will be? Smash! Whack-a-mole got stars and about 1,000 fucking birds spinning his shit. He'll never stop spinning. Will you take thought of how you will eat if you're full? No, you won't. Smacked another one. That nigga head dangling on by a damn thread. What's next? Will you think about what you shall wear if you're already wearing the coldest, most dopest shit you could ever imagine wearing? No, you won't stress about it. Smackaroo. Any other ones want to hop up here with the carnal mind telling me about what I should think about today? I'm not going to take thought, and guess why? Because my soldier husband, who's over there fighting, killing all the fuck out of you guys, when he gets back home, he's not going to find me committing adultery. He's going to find me doing what he told me to do. He's my husband, isn't he? Aren't you women tired of being labeled as whores and sluts and prostitutes and counted as a dog, which is why men call you a bitch? Aren't y'all tired of that? Do you think he can call you those things if you're not being that, but you're being the type of woman I've just described to you? But I am. Well, that attitude right there proves that you ain't. Because you don't seek shit by faith. You seek it with the work of your hands. You put makeup on. You put a waist trainer on and some type of Spanx to make your booty look a certain way in your pants. Why do you care how your booty looks in your pants if you already have a husband who don't care? Uh, because I am my husband's not here, and I want. Oh shit! I'm starting to tell the truth. I know, which is what you should have did all along, because your husband's not here, and you want to see how much other attention you can garner because you're an attention whore. Because that's why Jezebel paints her face to get attention. So are you painting yours to get attention? Now tell me you're not, and then they will do that because they're rebellious. No, I do it for me. I do it for me. Well, then how come you only do it before you leave the house? Why wouldn't you do it when it was just you in the house, since you do it for you? I do. You're not in my house to tell me whether I do or I don't. I know you don't, because who the fuck would? Who the hell wakes up, does 6 hours worth of makeup just to sit at home eating Haagen-Dazs, watching Netflix? Nobody does that shit. So you do it to be seen of men, just like Yahusha said hypocrites do. And a hypocrite can't do shit but lie. It's all he can do. And he doesn't lie with his mouth. He doesn't have to. He lies with what he do. See, because neither do we love in word and in tongue, but we love in what we do. So then we lie with what we do. We do everything by what we do. Oh, man. All right. Now back to what I do. Back to what I do. All right. Let's go to the book of 1 John. 1 John chapter 4. Now, you guys remember what I said on the last video? I've said it on plenty of videos, but I'm going to say it again here. Do you guys remember what I said on the last video when I said there was a unique thing that took place at the cross that most people overlook, and maybe if they did look, they still don't understand what it means? So I'm going to ask all of you what it means. When Yahushua was on the cross and he looked down there, he saw one of his apostles there. Not 12, not 3, not 5 or 6. He saw one. And that one apostle that was there happens to be the one whom he loves. So the one whom he loves means the one whom he knows. Now, what does he say to that disciple John, who happened to be at the foot of the cross? What does he say to him there? He says, John, Mary, that now Mary is Yahushua's mother. So pay attention. Mary is now your mother. Mary, he looks at Mary and he says, Mary, behold, your son, talking about John. So now Mary, John is now me to you. You understand it? John, you are going to be me to your mother, to my mother. So you're elevated up to my status. So a son who has been, a grandson who has been elevated to son status. The one in his bosom, the one in whom he loved. The branch sticks out of the bosom of a true vine. Christ said, I am the true vine, and I am the branch. Sticking out of the true vine. That would be John. The one I'm telling you about, this mystery at the cross that most people don't seem to see. So I'm helping you to see it. So if he gave him this new position, doesn't that mean that he's been moved up into the position of Yahusha? Well, if Yahusha was going to pass it on to somebody, then that means he would pass it on to the one in whom he loves, right? To the one that matches him most, correct? Or in other words, his bride. The one who intimately knows him. Now, why is he his bride, guys? Well, where does a bride reside when she's walking up the street with her husband? In his bosom. So where was John every time you saw Yahusha? In his bosom. But the world cannot receive what I'm saying because they're too carnally minded and they're using the rainbow the wrong damn way trying to understand this energy. You can't understand it without understanding the spirit. That's what the Bible said. That's why y'all are using it pervertedly. This male and female energy y'all are trying to understand. Y'all can't. But didn't I explain it to you in the book of Jeremiah? The he and she that I explained is called the Lord our righteousness. He can explain it because he's thinking right. And why? Well, John is Yahushua's bride because he has received the secret fertilization of Christ's words that took place in a secret chamber. So he received the most intimate things, just like a wife does when she lays in the bed with her husband at night. There are things going on at work that this man does not even talk about at work because it vexes him. So when he comes home to his wife, he tells her about it as they lay upon their bed. So then, in other words, there are things his wife knows he feels about people at work that the people at work don't even know he feels. Can't you understand the point? See it? So that intercourse that John and Yahusha had privately and secretly in intimate moments, that intercourse is represented by the act of sexual intercourse. A man going into a secret place with a woman, laying with her, and secretly in a hidden place of darkness brings light in there and says, let there be light to her womb, which means let there be life in here. And then it does, because otherwise it's just dead. So John's mind was just blank and wide open. And that's why Yahusha liked him. It's the same way a man loves a woman who doesn't know anything, that he can teach everything to, according to his standards and his will. Because every man don't have the same will. Some are wicked and some are righteous. So a righteous man wants a woman who's blank, who has not been fecundated or fertilized by the wicked carnal mind, the wicked world she lives in, that has taught her to paint her face, that has taught her all about outward appearance, that has told her her looks are her value, that has told her if her looks are her value, then obviously that's not God's ways, because God says, don't worry about your looks, but focus on the heart. That's right what he says to the woman. So then how in the hell are they the same? They're not. That's what I'm here to tell the woman. See, I'm here to correct her flaw, just like the man, to correct his flaw. Y'all are vain. He says, don't do that. Do not take your person, in other words, who you are, in vain things. That's what Abba said. Don't take my name in vain. His name is I am. See that today? So now, I said all that about Yahusha and John being Yahusha's bride. That's why he's sending him again, and that's why he said he can't die. No, because he's one with Yahusha. Could Yahusha die? They tried to kill him, and you saw what happened. So what happens if you think you do that to John? The same thing happens. So that's why he's fearless. And that's what God has always wanted, a fearless leader. When I was a young lad and a youth, I've always played music, okay? Especially about 10 years old and up, I got really involved in music. Got really good at a few instruments, most notably piano, though. Very good on piano. So I would play with different bands. And these bands always consisted of grown men. And I would just be a youth. I mean, 12, 13, 14 years old a lot of times, playing with grown men in a band and shocking them. Like, they're like, this dude, man, shit, he's better than all of them. I mean, he's making music right on the spot. He's making songs right there while we're just waiting to practice. We're just tuning our instruments. He just starts playing a song he made up, and then we just jam in with him. And next thing we know, we got a whole damn song. What the heck? That's what was happening. That's what always happens. Put me in the studio right now and let's see. Give me an engineer, give me a lyricist, a notepad, and let's go. See what I'm saying to you? A vocalist. Now we good. And watch what I'm going to do. And don't give me no symphony or orchestra. Now y'all really about to get blew away. See what I'm saying, little flockulators? I make things sprout. That's what I do. Well, as I'm sitting there at band one day, the drummer, who also was the bass player occasionally of this particular band called Silent Voices I played with, he comes to me and he says, man, you are our fearless leader. That's what he called me. And that's what he called me to this day. Fearless leader. You are a fearless leader. He would always say it to me. You are a fearless leader, bro. So now, do you understand what I'm telling you about? That's all Abba's been looking for. Is someone who's fearless. Because is Yahusha fearless? So then does he want a bride? He needs somebody who's fearless. Doesn't that connect like a Lego, or do it not connect? What would you say? I told you, the man is looking for someone like unto himself, to make like unto himself, because she's got to be blank so that he can plant his seed and it will grow in his image. He ain't got time to be trying to pull a bunch of other images out of her mind down with fighting to try to make himself higher than those other images she's got in her mind. The man who took her virginity, he's got an image in her mind of what she thinks a man is. The man that first showed her this and showed her that and first time she ever had an orgasm, and then the first time she ever went on and got flued out, and then the first time she ever got this kind of Birkin bag, and the first time she's got all these different men that did these things that made her go, they're all in her mind. And so when you, the true husband, come, you're trying to break all of that shit down. You can't. You see what I'm saying? It's too overgrown with weeds and everything. It has to be bulldozed back to flat, open earth. Well, that means humbled. And that's what you read about the haughty woman in the Bible, do you not? She's going to get humbled because of her outward appearance is all she gives a shit about. Read Isaiah and see. See? It's all about her outward appearance. So he's going to humble her. He's going to bulldoze her and make her flat again. And then she's going to say, marry me so you can take my reproach away. Marry me and give me your name. I'll take care of myself. Just let me have your name and be married to thee. These are all scriptures I'm quoting. So nobody get offended, especially you ladies. Don't get offended. Understand that it's not about male and female like I keep telling you guys. It's about us all. You see it? Now, I'm proving it's not about male and female by showing you John is the bride of Christ here that we're reading about, who Christ sends again in the last time because he sends somebody he trusts. Who else would he send? He won't send who he loves. He's going to send somebody else. No, he's going to send who he loves. You see it? Now, when you see John, you think that literally means a man named John. No, it's what he represents. A man's name is what he does. Like Yahusha's name means what he does. Well, John means God is gracious. So he's the grace of God being afforded to the world. That's what it really means. The one Yahusha sends, who is the branch, is the grace of God being sent to the world in the last days. Now, I told you, the Master's Voice Prophecy blog Celestial made a video saying that exact thing. In case you guys think I'm just saying it, then watch her video. And I posted it so you guys can see it on my page as well. That's what she said. So then either she got some misinformation or she got the right same information I'm giving you guys. One or the other. You guys got to decide. I just posted it because what she said there is true. See what I'm saying, little flockulators? Now, that means John has the secret, utmost, perfect, right teachings that Yahusha has to give. That's why he's sent to give it again. That's why the book of Revelation says that. And then it also says, they said, he shall not die. He's going to tarry until I come. Well, that's what the bride does. She tarries until he comes. What did Yahusha say about John? If he tarry till I come, what is that to thee? That's what Yahusha, that's what any man would say about his bride. If she don't want to fuck with you, but she gonna wait until I come home, what the fuck is that to you, nigga? Get the fuck off my doorstep, hoe ass nigga. Because what does he mean? If he tarry till I come, what is that to thee? That's when that woman goes to the gas station. And then he goes, hey girl, damn, you look good. Starts slinking up there, slinking like a serpent. And he goes, damn, you look good. You got a man? She flashed her ring or whatever it is to show him that she's married. She says, I'm married. And then he goes, well, shit, where he at? And you guys know this has happened. He goes, well, where is he? He ain't here right now. Can you have friends? He'll say things like that, right? And she goes, well, no, I can't. I'm just tarrying until my husband comes back. He's at work. He'll be back in a minute. I'm just tarrying until he comes back. What is that to thee? What does it matter to you what I'm doing? You don't have no access to me, so what does it matter? Same thing Yahusha was telling them about John. Can you guys hear that? Hey, kitty. Look at it. Like you just woke up. What's up, man? What's up? Hey. You like you just woke up. All right. Now, like I said all that to say this. That means he's got the teachings. Now, Christ's teachings are summed up in one saying, that you love. Now, if we go to John and we look at his teachings, it should line up, shouldn't it? Like Legos, right? Well, let's see if it do. 1 John chapter 4. Beloved, believe not every spirit, but try the spirits whether they are of love. Because many false prophets are gone out into the world. Hereby know ye the spirit of love. Every spirit that confesses that Yahushua HaMashiach is come in the flesh, not was or has. That's not what it says, guys. Read it as is, because it says is. Yahushua Christ is come in the flesh, is of love. And every spirit that confesses not that Yahushua Christ is come in the flesh is not of love. And this is that spirit of Antichrist, whereof you have heard it should come. And even now already is in the world. You hear that, little flockulators? Ye are of love, little children, and have overcome them. Remember what Revelation said? So now, you are of love, little children, and have overcome. So those who have overcome have risen up to that Mount Zion. Those are the ones standing there with the Lamb. So if John is talking to them, he's talking to them as if he's a shepherd to them. Little children. What do I call you guys? Little flock. See how it's connecting like Legos? I mean, is it? Or am I just saying that it is? Or am I saying that it is because it is? Okay? Watch this. You have overcome them, because greater is he that is in you, see, than he that is in the world. They are of the world. See how I'm describing the two like I've always told you. Therefore speak they of the world, and the world heareth them. We are of love, and he that knoweth love heareth us. He that is not of love heareth not us. Hereby know we the spirit of truth and the spirit of error. Only two. Beloved, let us love one another. Who does he sound like? His husband or somebody else? Watch how that click like a Lego and foot sweeps anybody trying to run up on you thinking they know something, doesn't it? Yeah, it do. See it? He said, the world hears them, but we are of love, and he that knoweth love hears us. He that is not of love heareth not us. See that in verse 6? See, so it's two different places. Verse 7, beloved, let us love one another, for love is of love. Love is of God. And everyone that loveth is born of love and knoweth love. That's the goal, like I tell you. So how can I tell you that's the goal if I don't know that it is? And how could I not know that it is and say that it is? In other words, if I didn't know that it was love, I would still be looking. But I have ceased from looking. Okay, let me explain it to you. Before Saul knew what love was, he went about persecuting Christ and his church. But once love was revealed to him on that road, his name was changed to Paul. Paul means to stop. Saul means to inquire or ask. So what am I telling you, little flock? That before you know love, you are inquiring, asking, and searching for the ultimate prize, the pearl of great price, the thing that's going to give you the satisfaction and happiness eternally that you look for. You're searching for it. But once you find it and it's been revealed to you, then you stop searching. The man that finds the pearl of great price sells everything else and goes away rejoicing. That's the feeling you're looking for. See how all these things are just connecting like Legos. That's what I'm trying to tell you guys. See there? See there? Now, where were we? Verse 8. He that loveth not knoweth not God, for God is love. So do you see why I be saying love when the word God pops up there? Because can I? Yes, I can. See? Because God is love. Now, if he knows God and it has been revealed that God is love, who revealed that to him? His husband. Christ did. That's how come he knows that intimate detail, that other people do not know it. They can profess it all day long. That's why the Bible says they do. They honor me with their lips. They honor love with their lips. Yes, we all love each other, brothers and sisters, and take care of each other. But they don't do it from the heart. They have other things in their heart going on. They just know how to deceive you. That's how they deceive you, with their outward appearance and how they sound. That's why John has to come back and tell you the truth concerning it, that Yahushua had already told you that that's what they do. But y'all forgot it, so he sent his most trusted messenger in whom he delights. loves John, the messenger of the covenant. And then suddenly that spirit should come into that temple. Isn't that what's written in Malachi? So then what are you guys scratching your noggin noodles, wondering why I'm standing here with a staff on my back, walking back and forth around the flock, making sure none of them get plucked? I'm going to do exactly what my husband does until he come. What do you guys think you're going to do? Commit adultery and then he's going to come and he's going to be pleased with you? Then go right on a damn head then. I'm going to do what I see him do because I am him. And I'm going to prove that with scripture as well, if that don't tickle your fancy or it gets your panties all in a bunch because you're faithless and don't believe that you are. I don't give a damn if you don't believe it. That's up to you. Work out your own salvation. I'm going to work out mine by telling the truth. Now, the continuing here. He that loveth not don't know God. So it don't matter what he say he know. He don't know God if he don't love. See, like I be telling y'all. In this was manifested the love of El toward us, because that El sent his only begotten Son into the world that we might live through him. Herein is love, not that we loved God like Saul. We didn't know him, so how could we love him? See? But that he loved us. He revealed himself to us. And then we were Paul and we stopped looking. See? And he sent his Son to be the propitiation for our sins. Who was talking to Paul on that road? Well, let's see what he said. Saul, Saul, why persecutest thou me? Who do you think that is saying that? That would be the Son who was sent. See that? Beloved, if was Saul in his sins? Yes. So who came to be his propitiation? Yahusha did and corrected him. And then he went and became sinless and went and fought the good fight of what? Faith. See? Guys, I don't know what else you want me to say here other than the truth, because I ain't gonna say nothing other than the truth. But can you handle the truth? 12. Okay? Oh, wait. Verse 11. Beloved, if El so loved us, we ought also to love one another. Who told us that? Whose commandment is that? Yahusha's. So who's reminding us of the commandment? John is. So who's going to remind us of everything that Yahusha told us to do? La dee 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 skee dee dee. That's how a bird sings when he's free. That's all it is, little flock. That's all it is. All right, now continuing. Verse 12, no man hath seen El at any time. If we love one another, El dwelleth in us, and his love is what? Perfected where? In us. So how does God make himself manifest? Through us. That's how. Alrighty then, like I'm telling you about me. Oh boy. Hereby know we that we dwell in him and he in us. This is how we know, because we know love. The only way we know is that we become one with. That means to know. I don't know what you guys think know means. It means to know and not be one with? No. You know if you're married. That's why the Revelation talks about a marriage supper. And I'm telling you who Yahusha's bride is, aren't I? The one who knows him more than everybody else would be his bride. Who knows him more than everybody else? I'm proving it to you by what the man is saying. He's saying exactly what Yahusha would say if Yahusha was writing that. It's as if Yahusha's writing this, isn't it? But it happens to be the one in whom he loved. That's in his bosom, which means in his heart. Can you guys hear it? Hope you can. All right. Hereby we know that he dwelleth in us, because he hath given us of his spirit. See, Ruach HaKodesh proves it. Now, I asked you guys before, Ruach HaKodesh, have you witnessed it coming out of the school of marvelous light, out of this temple, this body? You can either say yes or you can say no. It's really up to you. But if you say yes, then what does that mean? That means that I have overcome. I'm not trying to, and I'm not inquiring or asking. I've stopped doing that. See? Because I know. I'm married. All right then. All right, now watch this. Verse 14. And we have seen and do testify that the Father sent the Son to be the Savior of the world. See, that's why I remind you of what he said. If he wasn't the Savior, I wouldn't take every single day to remind you. I wouldn't. I would tell you all kinds of other stuff I think will help you, but I don't. I only tell you what my husband tells me to say to you. See? Now watch this. Whosoever shall confess that Yahushua is the son of El dwelleth in him, and he in El. And we have known and believe the love that El hath to us. El is love. In case you guys are wondering, I'll say that again. And he that dwelleth in love dwelleth in El, and El in him. See it? That's Zion. That's the highest point of where you can dwell, because it's the most high power that conquers all, which we're going to read in case you're thinking it don't conquer all. And I would say all is under love. Then where would I like to stand? Where would you like to stand? If love is over everything else, where do you want to stand at? Well, you're going to prove it by what you do, as he said here. Now, watch what happens when you get perfected in love. Something changes in you. What is that? Let's see. Verse 17, herein is our love made perfect, like I told you. This is how you prove when the love that you have in you has been made perfected. Because perfect love is going to cast out fear, which of course is probably going to say that, probably. But let's continue. Herein is our love made perfect, that we may have what? I told you the change happens. From fear, out of fear, when you get faith, you become what? Boldness in the day of judgment. Because as he is, so are we in the world. Stop while I let their heads roll.
Grandson, you're speaking blasphemy. Grandson, you're trying to make yourself one as if you're Christ. Grandson, you're trying to make yourself elevated as if you're equal with Jesus Christ.
Am I trying to do something, or am I just? I would just say I am. You can try to say a nigga trying. You can try to say a nigga is this. You can try to say a nigga is that. But you don't know how to judge right. So then how in the hell does what you got to say matter to a woman that love her husband unconditionally, without waveringly, faithfully, and righteously, with chastity? So then what are you going to say or do to try to get in my panties? Huh? You can play the thong song all in the fuck you want. You won't see mine. Damn, grandson, you are peculiar. I know. Male and female created he them. That's what you hear coming out of me. Male and female. And they called his name Adam. Man. That's who you see standing before you. That's why it's peculiar and strange. Male and female are too busy trying to fight one another to come together and become powerful. Because if the all-powerful ingredient that makes you all-powerful is love, then how do you think you're exhibiting love if man and woman is fighting each other, trying to overcome one another, trying to usurp one another, and trying to rule? Then they're not using the ingredient. But they are using the 7 deadly sins to try to overcome one another. Hatred, malice, and shit. Niggas all full of wrath and envy. Hatred, variance, and strife and discord. They use all of that trying to say, no, I am powerful. Okay, well, you've denied the thing that actually makes you that, which we're reading about right here as we're going to continue reading. So herein is your love made perfect, when you're bold, when you're judged. That proves that you love, that you're not fearless. I mean, that you're not fearful. Excuse me, guys. It proves that you're not fearful, which also proves that you're perfected in love. You see? Watch this. And why are you like that? Because as he is, so are we in this world. See? One. So that's what I mean. If you say I'm blasphemous for saying that I'm one with him, then why did this say this? How can that say that? And then if I say I'm one, I'm wrong. That's because you're faithless. It's foot sweep. Foot sweep. See it? Watch this here. Verse 18. Watch it, guys. Decapitation time again. There is no fear in love. So how much fear is in love? See why it's the most powerful thing to have? Told you. There is no fear in love, but perfect love casts out fear. Didn't I say it would pop up out of there? It did. Just like Jack out the box. Fear cast out love. Love cast out fear. So then if love cast out fear, then it's fear that's holding you back from the thing you want. It's fear that causes you to go out there and commit adultery. It's fear that causes you to doubt that your husband's coming home and just start being a glutton. It's fear that causes you to stop taking care of yourself and just become a sloth. It's fear that causes you to paint your face all up to gain attention from people for them to tell you that you're pretty. It's fear that causes you to wear that mask because if they saw who you truly were, then they may not call you pretty. And you can't have that. You must be called pretty. So you paint out the outer surface so that they'll say that, even though that's not what makes you pretty, girl. That's not what makes you pretty. You could be the most beautiful, outwardly gorgeous thing that's ever walked. But if your heart is ugly, then every person is going to know that you ain't shit and that you're ugly. But they may honor you with their lips because they're going to do the same thing that you do with Christ. They honor you with their lips, but their hearts are far from you. They don't give a damn about you. So then why do you want that? That's called vainglory. Why do you want people to honor you with their lips, but their hearts are far from you? I would rather people have some shit to say about me negative, but have their heart close to me, because the words of a friend might wound you. He might tell you some truth that you needed to hear that you just weren't comfortable or ready to hear. It might even make you mad, but it was true and helpful for you to hear it. Do y'all see that difference? He won't flatter you like these niggas which honor you with their lips. Flatter you. Flattery is deceit. Y'all didn't know that? So since you're deceiving, then all of that adoration and love you think you're getting is deceit. It's deceit. You've been deceived. Because you reap what you sow. Okay? Now, love casts out fear because fear has torment. What did I say? You start having all kinds of other thoughts that come in when you say, oh, my husband's been so long in coming. Then another thought comes. Then another thought going to come. Then you're going to be tormented. When you're cheating with that other guy, you're going, wait a minute. What if it's fear? What if somebody sees me? I described this earlier in the message. See how it has torment? So you cheated and you thought it felt good when you cheated with that other guy. It was so exhilarating when you were in the washroom hiding and shit in the laundry room in the apartment complex. But then the camera was right there and it filmed you. Oh, shit. And the person who has access to that footage knows your husband and says, hey, man, you might want to take a look at this footage here. He hasn't shown it to him yet, but then he goes to the woman and says, hey, I got that footage of the washroom at 7 o'clock yesterday. She realizes she was in there with that man. Oh, shit, you do? Yeah. I want some too. Or I'll show your husband this video. Isn't that how the world goes? I know that shit is fucked up, but ain't that how the world goes? I'll show your husband this video unless you give me some too. Shit. Isn't that how I go? All right then, little flock. Well, you ain't got to worry about that when you're perfected in love. When you were faithful and chaste, you don't have to worry about fearful thoughts, do you? See how that liberates you and make you free? When you really know and believe, well, when you really know, that's the word we keep using, that your husband is going to return for you, then you're going to act like you know it. You're not going to act like you don't know it by doubting and committing adultery in the in-between time, which brings torment. So then you won't have the torment. Your husband, when he come home, you're not going in the back of your mind thinking like, oh God, I hope he doesn't find that. I hope he doesn't find this. And I hope he doesn't realize that I did that. And I hope he doesn't smell that cologne. And I hope he doesn't realize that his soap was moved over there in the shower because this happened and that. And everything. Torment. You won't have that. All y'all conversations would be like how much you was waiting for him, which is going to make him adore you more. It's going to make him take care of you more. See? Because you were honorable and faithful. Did you hear what I said what Yahushua would do for you because you were honorable and faithful? Maybe you didn't. But anyway, verse 18, the end of it. He that feareth is not made perfect in love. See, we love him because he first loved us. If a man say, I love God and hateth his brother, he is a liar. So then what do I always tell you guys? To please God, love your neighbor. That proves that you please God. How can I say words like that to you if I'm not the man who's supposed to say it to you guys? In other words, how could John say what he was saying if Yahushua hadn't taught John to say these things? Come on. Okay then. Watch this. If he hateth his brother, he's a liar. He don't love God. For he that loveth not his brother whom he hath seen, how can he love God whom he hath not seen? And this commandment have we from him, that he who loveth God loveth his brother also. That's the commandment. So I don't know what you guys want me to say when you ask me what God's commandment is. Something different? That scripture proves what's going to come out of my mouth because I know who I am. And if you knew who you were, you would say the words that were supposed to come out of your mouth because that's what you're designed for. To be a vessel, to be used, a living sacrifice, not what you think should come out your mouth. All right. Go to 1 Corinthians chapter 13. 1 Corinthians 13, verse 1. Though I speak with the tongues of men and of angels and have not charity, which is love. Charity, in other words, is selflessness. Giving up of oneself to benefit another, which is love. Charity. I am become as a sounding brass or a tinkling cymbal. And though I have the gift of prophecy and understand all mysteries and all knowledge, and though I have all faith, so that I could remove mountains and have not charity, I am nothing. Did you hear it? So people brag about having spiritual insight and spiritual gift to do this, and I can do that, and I can lay on hands, and I can pray and do that, and I fast for 5,000 days straight without even breathing an oxygen bubble under the water and all this other shit that niggas pride over. If you don't have love and selflessness, then you don't do anything. You ain't shit. And though I bestow all my goods to feed the poor, and though I give my body to be burned and have not charity, it profit me nothing. It don't mean nothing, see? So that's why I tell you guys to obtain love over all else. Don't I? Is that what John tells you? So then it's lining up like Legos. Watch this here. Charity suffereth long. This is the definition of love. If anybody asks you, what is love? This should be your answer. And when you ask someone what is love, this should be their answer if they know love. Now, based on their answer, we'll tell you how intimately they know love. Okay? Love suffereth long and is kind. So love suffers long and is kind. So when you're going through some type of affliction, do you take it long like that woman that does when she's at home for months and months and months and months waiting for her husband to come home? Is she willing to endure that to prove she loves her husband and is loyal to him? Because that's how she proves it, by suffering the separation for all that long time. That's love. If she can't and she gives in and cheats, then she just didn't love him from the start. That's simple. That's simple. Because it's not love, see? So she can she can dance, talk how much she cooked, talk how much she cleaned up, talk how much she did all this shit. But you didn't have love, so you didn't actually do anything, nor are you anything. See how that worked, little flock? Just like Yahushua told to the people that said they did the things for him. But you don't know love, because you don't know me. So you say you do stuff for me, but you actually don't. See how it working? Watch this. Charity envieth not. Charity vaunteth not itself, is not puffed up. See, no pride, no vanity. See there? Doth not behave itself unseemly. See, trying to sneak, hide, deceive, and work treacherously. Nope, don't do that. Seeketh not her own. Seeketh not her own. What do I want? I'm lonely. I'm this. I'm that. Taking the Lord's name in vain and in lies that make you do dumb shit. That's why it's dumb to take it in vain, because it make you do dumb shit. So then don't do it. That's what God said. Watch this. Is not easily provoked. So when a man says something to you, you don't easily just get pissed off. You see what I'm saying to you? You just sit there and take it like Yahusha did. He proved he was loving by going, forgive them for they know not what they do. Even though they're spitting on me, calling me a liar, lying, saying I'm Satan, called me a winebibber and a glutton, said that I was unclean, said that I was doing what I did by the power of Beelzebub, some nigga they made up called the Lord of Flies. Flies like to land on shit and eat that. So I don't know why you want your God to be called the Lord of things that eat doo-doo. But anyway, I guess you guys are heathens. You like to play with doo-doo so much in the carnal world. Shit. No wonder you say the Lord of Flies. And the flies flying around you niggas. That's what happens when you're dead. Watch this. It thinketh no evil. So if you thinking some evil shit, then you're not in love. Tell me that you are while you're thinking an evil thought. Okay, you can't. So then just admit the truth of what we're saying here. It rejoices not in iniquity. So when somebody get off on somebody else, you're not celebrating that shit. It doesn't rejoice when something unfair goes down, but it rejoices in the truth. Bears all things. It rejoices in the truth. So she don't rejoice because the nigga she cheating with came knocking at her door. But she does rejoice when her husband does. Like we were reading in Song of Solomon. Love bears all things, verse 7. Believes all things. See how innocent love is? Hopes all things, endures all things. Love never fails. But whether there be prophecies, they shall fail. Whether there be tongues, they shall cease. Whether there be knowledge, it shall vanish away. You hear that? For we know in part, we prophesy in part. I told you, people think I got this wisdom, this knowledge, and I'm going to use it to rule over men and all this other shit. Then you don't have anything. You're not ruling over anything because you aren't anything. Goddamn simple, right? For we know in part, prophesy in part, but when that which is perfect is come, what is it? Love. You will think you know all kind of shit, but then once you get love, you drop all the rest of that knowledge and wisdom and speaking different languages and talking all this and trying to get all these books and learning from this seminary and learning from these scholars and doing all this research, and you stop. You say that's dumb as fuck to do when I understand all I got to do is love my neighbor. That please God. Nothing else I need to do. That proved that God is in me. The fact that I live my life loving my neighbor as myself. So then what have I gotten that's been valuable? Something in the 3D world? No. What I got that's valuable is love. So then what do I teach you guys about every single day of my life that I'm living and I'm capable of doing it? But all y'all want to do is talk shit about the grandson. All y'all want to do is talk shit. All y'all want to do is find a chink. All y'all don't want to do is talk about something that you think ain't right about me. Something that ain't right. Something that ain't this. Something that ain't that. Something that ain't that. Why don't you talk about what is for a fucking change? Why don't you stop being so perverted in how you think about a thing? You're telling me that all you care about is a fucking dog that's got his fur all perfectly combed and brushed and doesn't have a flea on him, and he's got a perfect little collar and a gold damn chain around his neck and every damn thing with his little name on and all embroidered on a jacket that he's wearing? That's the only dog you care for? You don't care about the one that's laying in the gutter that's a better dog than that fucking asshole that shits all on your fucking carpet and barf under your bed, but just because he got a pretty coat, you wanted him. Just because he looked good, you wanted him. But that one that looked kind of rough that's living under the fucking gutter would have been loyal and loved you and did good to you and protected you, loved you and your children. But you cast him away because of how he looked on the outside surface. You guys do that shit with everything. So I'm not surprised that you're doing it with me. Giving y'all the most precious gift you could ever obtain, guys, which is the knowledge of love. As you can see, you can't even get close to God and don't love your neighbor. He's going to kick your ass away from him because you don't love your neighbor. So then what the hell do you think you need to learn how to do? You need to learn how to be free from your own personal stress so that you can love your neighbor. That's what Yahusha said he came to do, to give you rest for your psychological life so that you will know the truth and be free from that stress. So now you can see your brother. You can't even see him when you're thinking about yourself and your own circumstances. That's selfishness. That's not charity. You can't give charity. The moment somebody asks you for something, you look in your own account. You look in your own circumstances first before you even consider giving them anything. That's the natural carnal mind's way to do it. But Yahusha taught us to do it totally different than that. If a man asks you to go 1 mile, go 2. The carnal mind ain't gonna fucking tell you to do it, and you know it. So you automatically know who's talking to you by telling you to go 2. That must be the loving thing to do. Now, is it? Or is it loving to go half a mile with that nigga and tell him, I'm too tired, man. You going the rest of your way by your damn self. My damn feet hurting, man. I'm tired as hell. That ain't loving. That's selfish as fuck. That's wicked in the devil. So then what the hell you think you need to be doing? Going half a mile or going 2? Thinking about yourself or thinking about your brother's case more than yourself. And then let Abba care about you while you care about your brother. But you don't trust Abba gonna care about you. You trust you to take care of you, don't you? Well, trust in your own arm of flesh then, nigga, and see if that bitch don't wither up and fall the fuck off. When that which is perfect is come, then that which is in part shall be done away, like I just described to you. Nothing else will matter. When I was a child, I spake as a child. I understood as a child. I thought as a child. But when I became a man, I put childish things away. Childs speak on things that they think they know, but they don't know anything yet. They just speak ignorantly. Mommy, look what I can do. Look at this. That's a cat. That's a dog. He's pointing at a cat, calling it a dog. But he want to teach you what he think he knows. But he did it ignorantly. He thought he was right, but he wasn't. Paul said the exact same thing about his own life. That's what we're reading here in Corinthians, aren't we, Paul? Okay, then. Watch what he says. For now we see through a glass, darkly, but then face to face. Now I know in part. That means when you're learning in life, you don't know anything clearly yet. You just know pieces and parts. Like he says, what's done away in part will be done away. We know in part, like children do. But then once you got the answer, which is love, then you know everything. So then you put the childish things away. You get rid of everything else that doesn't matter, and you take the pearl of great price, Sedet Connect. All right? Watch this. Now I know in part, see? But then shall I even know as also I am known. See? That's why I know exactly who I am. I only knew in parts before. Okay, well then, Abba, why this? Well, because of that. Okay, so that must mean I'm this. Okay, well then, Abba, that happened. So then what does that mean? What does that mean I am? Why did I do that? Because you're this. And then you get that little piece of nugget. And then you find out more and more and more. Just like a son does with his father. His father's going to tell him who he is. His father knows who he is. And so he's going to teach his son who he is. Don't you guys understand that? Maybe not. And now abideth, watch this, faith, hope, charity, love. These 3. But the greatest of these 3 is charity, is love. So the greatest is love. So then John got the greatest teachings that I described to you. And what did he say that they were? Love. And I proved it to you by reading his writings. And then I also prove it to you by speaking the words that I speak. Now go to Hebrews chapter 11. Hebrews chapter 11, start at verse 7. By faith, stop. By what? There's only one way you should do something. So how did this person we're about to read do the thing that they did? By faith, first of all. That's why we stopped there. Okay, now let's continue. Who? By faith, Noah. So stop again. So Noah did what he did by faith. That automatically made him pleasing to God. See how it working? That's why he was perfect in his generations. Now, faith is how you think concerning a circumstance. You could either be panic on the boat, like those men were in Yahusha's day, or you could be asleep, like Yahusha was. Peace and still is the spiritual life. That's what we read. It's the spiritual mind that causes you to be asleep during a circumstance. The carnal mind causes you to panic. That's why they were running around, but there was one man on the boat, in other words, in the earth, who was in right thought. So he was asleep because he was in the spiritual mind, which is right thought. See it? All right. So, see why Noah's put into an ark? You see the connection of the boat that I described to you? We're all going to die. So what was everybody on the outside of the boat was saying when it started raining? We're all going to die when the storm hit. But what was Noah saying? I am safe. I'm in peace because I'm inside of here. Now, when the branch comes, it is written certain prophecies. While we're on this subject, just to give you a little bit more proof about the branch, it says that the lion and the lamb will lay together, and you'll see about this bear and everything. In other words, the predators and the prey will all be living together. That's part of the fulfillment of the branch when he comes, which is the man who I am. So in my time, while I'm here on the earth, this is going to take place. Why? Because I'm the comforter sent in the last days like Noah. And it happened in Noah's day. And Yahusha said it shall be just like that. What do you mean it happened in Noah's day, grandson? When Noah put the animals onto the ark, there was some lions on there, wasn't there? And I'm sure there was an antelope on there, or a gazelle, or a deer, wasn't there? Now, how come when they got on the ark, the lion didn't just look right across the way and see that deer and go, I can't help that succulent sucker look good as hell to me. I can't help but be the beast that I am. And while he's ripping into him, the bear looks over and sees a caribou sitting in his pen, and the bear breaks out of his pen and says, I can't stop this hunger, Snatchy. How come none of that was going on in the ark? Did I not tell you about the branches day? That the same thing is going to happen that happened in Noah's day, like Yahusha said. Oh my God, do you see it? So the comforter came, which was Noah, and the lion and the lamb laid down together, and the wolf and the lamb, or whatever it says. You guys know it. Eating straw and everything, the bear shit eating straw and all that. Yeah, that's what he was eating on the ark. Because that's what he was eating in the righteous mind. I don't know if you guys can hear it. The faithful mind, that's the way it goes. There's no harm in the holy mountain of Zion. There shall be no harm. So in the holy right thought, the highest place of consciousness, which is love, which is in the spiritual mind, once you reach there within yourself, you are in the kingdom. And there is no hurt going to happen in that kingdom. So if you're there, then what happens in your mind concerning what you're looking at? It changes. Come on, guys. Can you hear what I'm saying? So if it happened with Noah when he entered into the ark, then it's going to happen when the grandson. See what I'm saying to you? Now, that was just a side note. I wasn't even planning on saying that, but it's true, so I thought I'd throw it in there too. All right? You wanted cheese on your burger? There's some cheese for you. Now, let's get back to Noah. We only read 3 words out of this script. Dang. By faith, Noah, being warned of God of things not as yet seen as yet. What is faith? That's why I said by faith. What is faith? Evidence not seen. So nobody had seen the thing that he was warned against. See it? Just like the grandson. See? So he was moved with fear, prepared an ark to the saving of his house, by the which he condemned the world. So the fact that he built that ark mean that he knew he lived in a fallen world. So do I. That's what I described to you guys. See what I'm saying to you? Watch this. By the which he condemned the world, and what else? And he became what? Heir of the what? Righteousness, which is by faith. So just as in the days of Noah, so shall it be in the days of the Son of Man. So when the branch comes, he is going to be the inheritor of righteousness, right thought, which is by faith, which is the thing I teach you guys to do. Come on with it. How much accuracy and how many days of proof and hours do I have to teach seamlessly as well without a struggle before you guys get in your faith increase? And you say Abba's doing the work that he said he was going to do. Let's get on in on this work. You hear what I'm saying? He said, I shall do that good thing that I promised to the house of Israel and to the house of Judah. So there's a good thing that he promised. Who is the good thing that he promised? The comfort. That's what Yahushua promised he would give. Okay? All right? He became heir. He inherited something, and he inherited the earth as well. See how that worked, little flock? By faith, Abraham, when he was called to go out into a place which he should after receive for an inheritance, see, it's about what you're going to inherit, obeyed, and he went out, not knowing whether he went. So did he go by sight? No. Did Noah build by sight? No. Did the branch build by sight? No. But they all became inheritors of something by faith. Let's continue and see. 9. By faith, there it is again, he sojourned in the land of promise, as in a strange country, dwelling in tabernacles, temporary stays, like a pilgrim, with Isaac and Jacob. See? So Abraham was dwelling in tabernacles with who? His son and his what? Don't be afraid to throw me in there. The grandson. It's right there on the page, isn't it? You guys just want to say it's the Father and the Son, and there ain't none. Well, then how come Abba keep throwing him up in there? See there? Watch what it says about the three. The Father, the Son, and the grandson. The heirs with him of the same promise. So Isaac, which is his son, and his grandson were given the same promise, guys. It didn't just stop at the son. The same thing Abba promised for Yahusha, Yahusha promised to his son. See? The grandson. That's why I'm standing on the authority that he gave me by faith. No one outside of me tells me this. Who? You niggas is even scared to admit it half the damn time. Even though you see the power of it and can't deny it, and you know it ain't you, because if it was you, then you'd step right up to me and say, I'm the branch, and I'm going to prove it to you by confounding you through your scriptures, because that's what I do. I don't even hesitate, and I don't care what school a nigga went to. I don't care what his skin look like. I don't care how tall that nigga is. I don't give a shit about what the fuck cologne he got on. I don't give a shit what kind of gel he sprayed in his shit this morning. None of that is going to do a damn thing, because what is within me is more powerful than anything that come from without of me. And that nigga is without of me. So he ain't my husband, and my husband is more powerful than any damn body. And let me prove it to you. That's the point of why I tell people to step up. Not so I can prove to you how powerful this vessel is, it's so that I can prove to you how powerful Yahushua is. All right then. So the son and the grandson are heirs, according to that scripture. For he looked for a city which had foundations, whose builder and maker is El. Do you see that today, little flockulators, or do you see it? So I think we've made our position clear here, and I think we've made our point pretty clear. That, as I have already told you guys, the ark is going to set sail and is going to float on top of, what does it say? A sea of glass mingled with fire. And those who are standing on top of it can only do so by what? Well, let's look and see so we can get some insight into walking on top of some water. Yahusha was walking on some water one day. Everybody knows about that. Even those who don't know the Bible know that story. Yahusha was walking on some water, and Peter, who is faith, he looked and said, "Can I come out there to you?" And so he said, "Yeah, go ahead." And then he did. But then he looked and he saw the wind and the waves stop. Do you hear what I'm telling you today? So he was doing something that physically into the 3D is impossible. But he had overcome it, didn't he? And he was doing it, wasn't he? But what stopped him from doing it? In other words, what caused him to lose faith? The 3D, what he could see, his senses told him a lie. It told him that he was in danger. If he was in danger, Yahushua would have told him he was. But Yahushua didn't say that. He said, "Come on out here." So that must mean it's safe. Now, do you believe that, Peter? Yeah, I do. That's why I stepped out there. Then why did you sink? Because I stopped listening to my husband and I listened to that damn deceiver who's the prince of the air who started blowing all that fucking air. I know. So you cheated right then. And then you sank when you cheated. Am I lying yet? Nope. Because I don't do that because I ain't got to. I like things that are beautiful and true, guys. I hate lies, man. I hate being let down. Shit, don't you? So then why the fuck lie about anything? Fear. You're just not perfect in love yet. You're still trying to protect this vessel. That's what all it is. You're trying to protect what you think is you. What you think is you is this vessel. That ain't you. That ain't you. It's just your car. It's just your tabernacle. It's just your body. And they think that if they tear that temple down, then it will never resurrect and it will never spring back up. But look what Yahusha said about his body. It was broken for your sake. I gave it up. And if they tear it down, then I should build it back up. And they laughed, thinking he was talking about a building. But it said he spoke of the temple of his body. Siloam Israelah.